Welcome to Dr. James Beckett Sports Card Insights, another hobby dinner conversation clip. We talked about perceived conflicts of interest in the hobby and how those are viewed differently than they were a long time ago. Thanks sponsors, Topps Panini, Upper Deck, Heritage Auctions, Huggins Scott Auctions, Mike Stadium Sports Cards, Burbank Sports Cards, ComC.com, and Beckett Media, Beckett Grading, Beckett Authentications. Thanks, attendees at the dinner, for your insightful comments. But without further ado, here it is. Okay, I want to talk about how conflict of interest in our industry has evolved and changed since I've been gone. PSA is doing a lot of things that 20 years ago you would have thought, hey, they could do that. BGS could be doing some things and is doing some things that 20, 25 years ago they would say. Heritage. What if Heritage wanted to have a card store? You could. I think the firestorm that would have been 30 years ago would not be there now. It's your test market. Mike Kramer did that. He had a local card shop and he was producing cards. So I think the conflict of interest aspect in our industry has been so massaged and smoothed out that it's not as big a deal now. Collectors is doing a lot of stuff. Now you can get your cards graded and then they'll sell them for you. You never have to touch your cards.
They'll buy them back before you.
So is conflict of interest not a thing anymore?
They put the price.
Chris, there's a bunch of things you could do as a big player in the industry that would broaden your touch points, but before would have been verboten.
Yeah. For us, trust and transparency is everything. But I think that's a function of broader society where a lot of people see that kind of happening. There's just so much going on.
It's looser.
So much information.
People get a pass.
People get used to that type of thing. But you're not wrong as far as there's conflict of interest in a lot of aspects.
Or perceived.
People that are grading, that are also dealing. Yeah. Not necessarily cards, but like memorabilia.
And cards.
Yeah.
I think that would be the only conflict. I think what you guys are doing is awesome. Or what PSA is doing with GameStop is great. That doesn't scare me as a retail store or someone who takes grading in for customers. Topps selling directly online doesn't scare me because at the end of the day, I'm here purely to serve collectors and feed them what they need. Like you said, transparency. Someone walks in with an 89 Bowman Tiffany said, I can't in good conscience buy that for $8.
Well, now you've got a customer for life.
Yeah, actually, he's not that new and he didn't know what the heck he was doing. But I see that all the time. I like the whole, okay, you open the cards for the customer, you grade the cards for the customer, you sell them, you consign them. A lot of people do that. I don't think top to bottom is a bad thing. I think for everyone, service-wise, except maybe grading and selling your own product, it's hard. Human nature and human beings are inherently evil. It's how God made us.
We can sign tons to Fanatics Collect. Not usually our stuff we pull in our breaks, though. But we get a lot of people asking if we will buy the cards that we pulled in the breaks, and I just can't pull the trigger. I don't ever want them to think I'm feasting on them, or it's always going to come to that.
Less people would be worried about that than you think.
Yeah.
But some people would be vocal about it.
I think if they're vocal, they're wrong.
Yeah, it's a conflict of interest. Everybody sees it and goes, what? This is insane. How can they do this? How can they get away with it? And they go, I guess everybody's doing it, so just go with it.
And it's not illegal.
But I think everybody sees the innate problem with it. And then they just go, I guess that's what everybody's doing. So let's just go ahead and do that. Then everybody gets wrapped up into...
And your word, do it with integrity.
Yeah.
If they look behind the curtain, they're going to find arm's length transactions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I have a different perspective on it. I see it's going on, but I also think that people recognize something that's bad or wrong when they see it. If you look at some of the old eBay power sellers, the guys you knew were shill bidding and had everybody in their family bidding on their stuff, they're gone. They're ostracized. We got rid of them. And it's not just like I'm not meaning me. I'm like the industry cast them out. They're gone. I think people know when something is definitely wrong versus you can see evil when you see it, and people recognize that, and those people are no longer in the industry.
They don't resurrect. I thought they came back with a different name or something.
Always.
Hey, but I don't think they last long.
They go on to greener pastures.
Yeah. Or they'll find another source of income, or they go to a different industry. They start trading Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
But nothing against those. In the 35, 40 years, I still remember Pogs and Beanie Babies. And guys tell me, sell all your sports cards and buy Pogs and Beanie Babies. Now they want me to sell all my sports cards and go buy Pokemon and Magic the Gathering. I've never deviated from that straight and narrow path of sports only. People who think I'm out of my mind sometimes, but other than Fortnite, I've never deviated unless it was completely just falling into my hands and exceptionally simple. Because if I take my thought process away from those sports, I'm doing fine. They tell me, oh, you could make $1 million buying and trading poke. That's the customers eventually, hopefully, we'll be able to drag them in. And I'm sure Beckett's grading more Pokemon right now or PSA than for non-sport, but eventually a lot of the non-sport guys, will they stick around? It's a market in itself. I'd let JJ speak to that.
Yeah, 100% we've seen an increase in gaming and TCG.
Yeah. Will they be around in 10 years?
Is your Germany office an attempt to capture some of the non-main sport kind of stuff?
100%. Yeah, we opened up in
that?
February and it's booming for us. You're talking about the market in other countries and they can't get enough of it. Same thing's happening in Germany with the grade for us as
They're
well.
not doing baseball.
It's maybe 1% sports that comes through there. And it's mainly soccer.
And 80% of that 1% is soccer.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But you'd be surprised. There's a lot of U.S. products in their high-end basketball for sure in German office as well. But we're seeing strong results in Germany right now from the grading side on TCG for sure.
You know, what they're wanting is the American product. They don't want you to bring a German version of National Treasures or
Beckett tried that 30 years ago.
Yeah,
It became it's a knockoff.
Yeah, they want the original American product as it comes with no alterations, nothing else changing or adding to it.
Yeah.
You really can't make enough of it because there's so many people over there that are ready to collect.
Do the Fanatics Brain Trust, do they listen to you guys? Because you got a lot of wisdom. In this room, we understand that, but it's a conglomerate. Are they listening to you guys? Because you have hobby knowledge.
They listen sometimes. They certainly listen when they don't have an idea of what they think the right or wrong answer is. They're a lot more likely to listen to us than if they think they already have a perception of how it's going. And Brain Trust talks to so many people every day from all over the world in the industry, and hearing so many voices and so many different versions of what people think they should get. I think it's hard for them to understand those people are telling them what they want to have and they want. It's like saying, oh, you shouldn't put so many Cooper flags in your product. But when you do, can I get all of them? That's what they hear a lot of all day long. It's hard to separate that input from the true input of what's going on. We can certainly get Clay to listen. We can certainly get the guys.
Sure, Clay's another lifer, though.
Yes, he is. But he still needs to be talked to sometimes.
What I will tell you on that front too, what's interesting also is when we came in 2.5 years ago, we had our track records and what we had done, and the people that hired us knew it, but the people running the company, dream job, and they're collectors. As David said, they're taking all this information from everybody else. But what we found over time is we just have to let them learn what we've told them when we walked in the door. Then all of a sudden, then they're coming to us and asking us like, oh my gosh, you guys told us this 2 years ago. And now we're seeing this exactly. What else can you tell me? So I think the door's open quite a bit more. The other thing, not in their defense, because that's the wrong word, but their approach to the business is different. And it's refreshing because it's not an approach.
Because they're approaching it as a business.
That too, but it's more, we're like an offshoot of Fanatics. We're not the main money maker. We're not held to the same standard, because I'll tell you, Panini was a business too. And we were pinching pennies, and the things we were responsible for, we're still responsible for them at Fanatics, but the focus is different. It's not, hey, your budget needs to not exceed this percentage and you can't spend 1 cent over this and you can't do this. Whereas Fanatics are like, you know what? Okay, go ahead and spend a little bit more, but as long as we know we're building into something bigger, then we're okay. Where Panini may have somewhat taken advantage of our knowledge to the point where we really were pitching pennies, and it came straight from the top. So it's different here, but yes, we do get heard, but I guess
it's in a different tone. It's in a different tone that we get heard. And they have so many plans and so many things they want to achieve. It's a tremendous place to work in, and I love the industry. It's a big place.
It's not just cards. I sell sports memorabilia, which is a completely different offshoot than your card. They're buying every small sports company. They want every single thing, like Jim said, top to bottom. Sports memorabilia mirrors my eBay inventory, and I ship. I get a check monthly from Fanatics. It used to be sports memorabilia. My check's coming from Fanatics every month. They give me money. I don't give them money. And not that I want it unless it was a distributorship, but I can't get a contract even as a shop with Fanatics. So it's mind blowing the different locations and what's going on. Half the time they don't know what they're doing. It's just literally do your best and bring out product and create as many collectors as you can.
We're on day 2 of the basketball license. We're going to have the football license next year.
Yeah.
And so those two are going to advance our position in the company a lot as far as our division. You're going to see it become a lot more predominant and proactive, and licenses will certainly help a lot. And we're very aware and we're very protective of them. And I think we have great plans going forward. They're going to see athletes worked into our stuff more than you ever have. And I think it's going to go worldwide. That's where you're going to see the really special things happen in the hobby. And when it goes worldwide, it's going to mean a lot for every collector in North America, because it's going to just open them up this brand new market.
And it's going to open up Michael Jordan cards from the 90s.
Sure.
It's going to open up older items. It's going to open up Wilt Chamberlain's 69 Topps cards.
But Michael Jordan, tougher cards from the 90s, a lot of times were one per box.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it was one per retail box.
Yeah.
That was only distributed in a certain way. Is Fanatics and Topps thinking about, will there be Asian inserts, or will everything be just straight product? Because even if the insertion ratios were not that tough, it only went to Asia. I think eventually you'll see all the sports do stuff that's just for those areas. Most of the stuff will be worldwide, available everywhere, but I think there will be products built just for that region or that continent, or contain those special players. You'll see all of it. It's so big and so vast, and you're going to make so many cards that you want to make it as spread out as possible. We know from our experience, it was always wise to make exclusive stuff than blaster boxes and mega boxes. And so you had to buy them both to get everything you could want.
So you're responsible for that. Is that what you're saying?
No, Keith is.
It's a good idea because it's a global market now. So if I know anything about the way collectors' brains work, if you've got the U.S. version, you know what's better than that is having the U.S. version and the Asian version and the European version. It just gives you something.
Well, if you're a play collector and they've got 4 versions of your player over there, you're going to want. But the thing that is hard right now is it's hard to go get them unless you make a trip over there.
U.S. version's always worth more.
To Skeppy's point, the universal standard is gold.
True.
Whether you're in China or Russia or Africa or America, it's the ounce of gold. So we're all bullish pretty much, it sounds. Is anybody pulling back on that? I think BGS is on the uptick. You're having growth.
I'm having to add data as we speak.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dane, your business continue to grow?
It's doing great. Yeah.
10 people?
We're getting a lot of new people that have never collected anything before.
They don't even have a collector gene?
They do now.
Okay.
And they're just baseball fans or they're basketball fans, and they heard about it from players or from their social media account. They saw it, and now we take them down the path of here's what we're doing. 2 years later, I'll talk to them and they collect 50s Topps. How'd they get there? I don't know, but we got them in the door, and now they're doing different
That's
things.
where a lot of the new people that we see walking in, their FaceTime or whatever, and somebody will be opening a box and the kids go nuts and click to the next one, and the next thing hooked, and they come in going, where can I buy some of this?
Then they evolve. Yeah.
And it's part of everybody's language. It's everywhere you go. Kids, my aunt doesn't care about cards. She says, man, I saw packs of cards the other day, and I was just like, man, it's becoming this thing where it's cool for everybody. Everybody knows it. Like our kids.
We don't think it's peaked.
Yeah. and it excites me because there's more people talking about it than whenever I was a kid, when we thought it was everywhere. Girls are involved with it. Women are involved with it more than ever. It just wasn't a thing. If I went to my friend's house, his little sister didn't give 2 craps about any of the cards that we collected at all. And we would just tell her, get out. We've got things going on in here. We foster kids, and even our foster kids, I was just doing work as I do at home. And she walked up, she's like, why are you always looking at baseball cards and Pokemon cards on your computer? And I go, because I love it. And, and then she said, but why do you love it? And that's a good question. I said, because it just brings me joy. And then I start showing her, she stopped staring at the screen for a little bit. And then she was like, so do people just always buy these things? And I go, yeah, all the time. And she was like, wow. She was like, I like Pokemon cards. And I was like, I know you do. And because every time we go to McDonald's or anywhere. And so it's really cool to see them being interested in and knowing it's a thing. My daughter called me the other day. She goes, hey, Dad, we're going down the road. And I just saw there's a sign that went up in Waxahachie for Fanatics. And she was like, don't you do something with Fanatics? And I was like, yeah. And it's like she pays attention. Her dad is in the industry, so she hears more language than she cares about. My wife knows more about cards. I think my wife needs to be a grader, is what I think, because it's one of those deals where she will listen and she will be
conflict
patient.
of interest.
She always, no, it's fine, babe. I love it. But even our foster kids, they just love it. They're always coming home from school and they're like, hey, is this one fake? I got this one today. And they know that's what I do. I'm trying to find out if a card's fake or altered. And so they're just obsessed with it. We had two of these boys and they're the same age at the same time. They weren't siblings or anything. And they came home one day and they were arguing and they were like, hey, Mr. David, he said that he got this super rare, ultra rare, whatever. And he goes, but I'm telling him it's fake. And he goes, it's not fake. He goes, nobody has this card and you're just mad that you don't have it. And I go, calm down. And the one who was saying it was fake a couple of nights before, I was sitting there working on some information and he was asking me what I was doing. And I was showing him how to look for generic fakes, just saying, this is what we look for. And he was like, oh, wow. And so he already had this idea of what to look for on counterfeit. And he came back. And I go, let's sit down. And so I sat down, I got a light out, and I go, it's fake. And he goes, I told you it was fake. He brought so much joy to my heart because like their involvement is very minuscule, but it's so powerful for me because that fills my joy tank whenever I see kids involved in it, just like I was whenever I was young. But it's more important than that. It's that we take care of it so that they love it and they don't get jaded. Because there was a time where I was jaded by it. And then now that I do it for a living, my mom was always like, don't you want to spend money on something else? Don't you just want to save a little bit? Nope, I know what I'm doing. And then now that I've made it a career, I always go back and go, see, I knew what I was doing. She was like, oh, yeah.
My wife's just recently, the last 10 years, switched from he owns his own business to he runs a sports collectible business.
Yeah.
So it took her a long time to tell her friends. But we've been together 30 years.
It is such an amazing thing that the hobby is cool. You can talk to a neighbor down the street and they're like, oh, you're into cars.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Cool
And it's like all these people go off and it's incredible. What a privilege that people care about the hobby. As we have more eyes on the hobby and more young people getting into the hobby, all of you guys are seasoned in the hobby. How do we steward and educate and teach the next wave of people? What are you guys doing currently to educate and inspire and encourage that next wave of collectors that are learning and excited and understanding cards for the first time?
See, I think that's the difference. In the junk wax era, it was, I'm going to try to get as many cards as I can. And in this era, it's, I'm going to tell my friends because this is cool. So instead of thinking how many cards I can get in my garage,
I live that.
They're all in your garage, or your multiple garages. But I think it's inclusive now. And I think that's the thing. It's partly social media and all that. You're sharing. And I think 40 years ago, 30 years ago, the junk wax era, we were all like, David, I want to get all the cards. Instead of thinking, I want to have everybody collecting. That'd be less for me. But they don't think that way now.
No, they don't.
Which is a positive.
Correct. To answer your question by saying just listen to them. Like Keith was saying on the trade nights at the National, go out there and there's 2,000 or 3,000. And most of them are kids from 5 years old to 15 years old, sitting at tables just all over the lobby of this
Sitting on the floor.
First floor, second floor, third floor, all on kids.
That's how many people were in there.
But you could go just stand and listen to them talking about trading. And it took me back to being 10 years old with my 4 friends that collected, having the same conversations. And that made me feel good because I thought, you know what, these kids are going to grow up and they're going to love these cards. They're going to remember where they got these cards and it's going to be special to them. And they're going to want more cards.
The man in the house of cards is doing